Hello, this is Rebecca, Keystone RV Center. I am doing a video today on the 2025 Sierra 3990 FL front living for a customer who was not able to make it here for their orientation. So it was just easier really to do a video for YouTube and send them the link versus a whole bunch of small videos that my phone would be able to send. So, if you want to learn how to use a Sierra front living, continue watching. If you have any tips, tricks, if I've said something that is not right, let me know. I'm always up for learning new things in this industry. I learn something new every single day. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, the lot porter brought this out for me, set it, I plugged it in, and the very first thing we're going to do once we're plugged in your case, as soon as you get it off your truck, we're going to go over here to the side and we're going to auto level the camper. So you see all the slides are in, the steps on the other side are not down, nothing's out yet, because when you auto level, the unit itself is built to do that. The slide rooms don't like to do it. So we do it when everything's in. Right here is where your auto level is. We're going to turn it on and we're just going to push auto level. Well, there we go. Okay, there we go. I had to hold it in for a second. So now it's reading, your leveling system is reading how we're sat, and now it gets to work. It does take a few minutes, so you could be doing other things while this is happening. There are instructions right here to tell you how to get this on and off of your truck. It does have an auto hitch, so it has hitch memory. It'll go to the last place that it was hitched up at. It gives you all the steps to get it on your truck and then off of your truck. All right, so we're going to let that do its thing. I'm going to walk around the unit a little bit and talk about it. Since we're right here already, up here is your 30 amp solar controller. There is nothing here that you need to do, although I am going to set your battery to the right battery. They have it on AGM and you, oh, what did I do? All right, sorry. Enter, here we go. And I want it to be flooded because you have a interstate wet battery on the front. So now it's set to flooded. The only time you should have to mess with this at all is if you change off to a different type of battery. It has all batteries on here, so the solar just needs to know what kind of battery it is trickle charging when this is not plugged in. So it's still doing it. It's verifying it. Seems like it's probably about done, really. Once that screen goes back to your original home screen, it's done. That green light that's blinking right now will turn just to a solid green. Almost done. All right, so, well, and since we're right here anyway, you guys had requested the leveling blocks, which is a wonderful idea, especially for auto level. If you're in a spot that's a little too out of whack for auto level to do its job, you could put these underneath your leveling legs, or the feet. But you also did a very smart thing and bought these snap-up feet pads for your leveling. This is really going to help protect those feet on the auto level because they're metal, and if you were to set this on gravel and a big old rock was under it, it could very well bend that foot. So these are really nice protection for those feet. And again, with the leveling blocks, you can put your tires up on them, especially if you're going to be someplace for a period of time. It's always good to have these off the ground. So driving up on these is a really good idea. So I'm really glad you guys got those. All right, looks like auto level is done. When we're back to our original screen, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. It's hard to kind of go over it if your truck's not here, and we're delivering this to you. So over here, you're going to scroll down to auto hitch. You can enter to begin. This would bring all the leveling up in the back and set the hitch to the last place it was at when it got hitched up. your next setting is going to be auto retract all. So when you retract all, it's going to do exactly that. So even the leveling up front is going to come, that leg's going to go all the way up, which means the nose of this is going to go all the way down. It freaks people out when they first see that because it looks like something's wrong. The only reason why I'm even spending time on this auto retract all is because it's kind of a reset for your leveling system. Whenever your leveling system, if it seems like it's not acting right, something maybe is a little off with it, try doing the retract all. It really does seem to reset it, or there's something wrong, all right? So your next setting is going to be auto retract rear, so that it does just that. It retracts just the two in the back. And then you can manually level this. You really shouldn't have to use this too much. If you do, it's because you're way off level, and you're really just trying to get all your feet to hit the ground, essentially. But really, most people don't have to use the manual level. And then back to your home screen. So really, it's only 4 settings. If I were to hit front right now and hold it, it would just bring the front of it up, or I could hit retract front and it would retract the front. But you have to push and hold, and as soon as you let go, it stops. So that is going to be how you get this on and off your truck. All right, so just really read this to get it on and off your truck. Please do not try to auto level or anything like that until this is off of your truck. It will lift your truck right up off the ground. All right. All right. So that's it on that. I don't want to spend too much time on that. So you can close this. And then right here, we have your water station. So this is where people get a little confused, only because it looks like a lot. Really, it is not. First off, you have your outside shower, hot and cold running water. I don't have water hooked up to this. We are winterized right now. So I didn't want to hook any hoses up. I'm definitely not going to run water through it. It's, December. So we winterize everything. And we just can't take the responsibility of anything freezing up while it's on our lot. So essentially what you're going to do here, this is going to be your main port right here. You're going to pull that off, and you're going to put your drinking water hose to this. Now, whether you do it at this end or at the spigot, we always want you to use a water regulator every time. Do not skip this part. I don't care where you're hooking up at. If you're at a big campground especially, the water pressure is high because they have to feed all those campsites. I know that seems like a duh, but what most people don't know is in most cases, if your neighbors aren't using their water pressure is coming to you. And it could very well blow your lines apart because the pressure is too high. So just don't skip that part. You don't have to get a great big fancy one. Just get a normal little brass one that's already preset. I believe they're set to 40 to 50 PSI, which is just fine for this. A lot of people will also use an inline water filter, which would, you would hook that here and then your hose to that, but you already have a house water filter. Right now it's pink because it's winterized, so that's antifreeze in here, but you do have a filter that comes with this. So whenever you guys are ready to use it for the first time, you have the wrench that will undo this, and then you can drop it in. A lot of people, honestly, a lot of people don't care for this. A lot of people will just use the inline filter here. So, all right, so enough about all that, I think. Up here, this is how you're going to tell the camper how you're going to use it. So the pictures indicate what you're going to do. So dry camping. Dry camping is when you have no hookup to water. So you are going to be working off of your fresh tank. So the first thing you have to do is fill your fresh tank. So it says city inlet to tank. This is your fresh water. That's the position these need to be in to fill your fresh tank there. So you're going to fill it there. Everything's going to go through here. There's only one other thing that doesn't go through here, okay? So we're going to fill your tank here. And then to use the water from your fresh tank, you're going to put it in that position, these in that position so that it knows to pump water out of your fresh tank to whatever faucet you have turned on. Most common is going to be your city water. That means you have water hookup at the site that you're at. So again, you're going to put a water regulator on, hook up to this, and turn these knobs in that position. And now whenever you turn on your water, it's going to, just like at a house, you're going to have water there. This over here is to winterize. If you're going to winterize your camper, that's the position it's in now because we winterized it. You're simply going to turn your knobs to that, again, hook into here, and turn your water pump on. You're going to start turning on all your faucets. The number one thing that people forget to winterize is their outside shower. That's the number one thing that's forgotten about. It'll cause you a big problem if you forget to winterize it. So just don't skip that. The other thing is your toilet. People forget to do that all the time. So please, when you do winterize it yourself, be sure that you're hitting everything that water comes through. Over here, you can put it in this position. If you want to sanitize your fresh tank, I do recommend sanitizing it like once a year. They sell actual tank sanitizer. It's not super harsh. It's not going to have like a bleach smell to it. But it helps to sanitize your fresh tank. And also, you can run that same sanitizer through your lines to sanitize your lines. It's recommended to do that before you use it for the first time. So it's really just for your fresh tank. This here is a black tank rinse. So your black tank is your toilet. You've got one bathroom in here. So what you're going to do here is whenever you dump your black tank, you're going to bring a hose here. I don't necessarily recommend using your drinking water hose. I don't think it's going to hurt anything, but just the idea of it. This is a direct link to your black tank. So you can bring your hoses up through here so that you'd still be able to shut the door here. But bring your hose up, hook it into here, leave the black valve open whenever you're spraying it out, and turn on your water. So I'll talk more about that when we get down there to your sewer outlet and stuff. But this is going to be where your black tank flush is. Everything's enclosed. All right, so there's that. This light switch here just turns this little light up above on and off. All right, okay. Now, we are going to go right here. This is where your furnace exhaust is. So whenever your furnace is running, this is probably the best place to stand if you're cold because there's a lot of hot air coming out of there. Please keep in mind it is hot air coming out of there. The metal itself can get pretty hot. Any little ones running around, hopefully they'll only touch it once, learn a lesson. Highly recommend getting a screen for this guy. They have RV screens that you can hook on, and they just stay on for travel. You don't have to take them on and off. They just simply stay right where they're at. The main reason being it's an insect screen, so you don't have like mud daubers, stink bugs, lanternflies, anything like that get in there, because they'll get in there and build a nest, especially the mud daubers, and it will wreak havoc on your furnace. It's about a $15 part. Just get it. It's a Suburban furnace. That's what you're going to shop for, a Suburban insect screen. And Amazon, you could have it tomorrow. All right. Over here is that tankless water heater. We love these tankless water heaters. Number one, if anyone else watching, most of the time you have to bypass your water heater when you winterize, because you don't want to put 6 or 10 gallons of antifreeze in your water heater. This guy, there is no tank. It's tankless. So you don't bypass it. We actually want you to run antifreeze through there. These are copper coils back here that are being superheated. That's how you're able to get that continuous hot water. So, whenever you are winterizing, make sure you're turning the hot side on so that it can run through this. This down here is the pressure relief. So this is a propane only water heater. It needs a little bit of electric to fire it up, but it's heating it from your propane. Whenever this kicks on, it's going to go to the temperature that you set inside. When we get in there, I'll show you that. But you're going to set the temperature. If, for whatever reason, this happens to overheat the water, the pressure will come out here. It'll spit that water out. It's normal to see that every once in a while. It is not normal all the time. If it's every now and again, if you happen to see it, just keep an eye on it. Make sure nothing's wrong. If you're seeing it happen a lot, there's something going on that's causing this to superheat your water too much. So, having said that, I talked about the exhaust for your furnace. The exhaust coming out of here is a lot hotter than your furnace. So please don't put anything here that would melt or that would block that. And really, that's about it. This is the on and off switch for it. Right now, it's off. But once you turn it on, you set your temperature inside. You don't have to think about it anymore. As long as you have electric and as long as you have water and propane, you have hot water. Okay? All right, moving on. You have your 50 amp cord here, right here. You just stick that in there. You're going to turn it and then tighten it down to keep it in here. The cord's all 36 feet long, and let me just show you on this end. There's 2 blue lights up here. Those 2 lights that are on, it's letting you know that the power coming in is on, that you've actually got power coming from this box. I'm on an adapter because we only have 30 amps. Everything in here is still going to run off 30 amps, but we would not be able to run both AC units. We can only run one at a time when we're on 30 amps. If you're on 50 amps, you can run everything. All right, so there's that. And just take note of the placement. It's almost in the center of your camper. So whenever you're backing into your spot, just keep in mind you got a 36-foot power cord, and your outlet for it is right kind of in the middle, right? Here you have storage. That's all this is. It's nice storage though. It's a good size. So I'll shut that. All right, so down here is the fun stuff, the stuff I talked about up front. You have 2 gray tanks and a black. So you have a gray tank for your bathroom and a gray tank for your kitchen. So the way it's going to read inside, I believe, is you're going to have gray 1 and gray 2 and a galley. This is galley, gray 1 and galley. You don't have a gray 2, so to speak. Now, I will say, though, the one thing I understand why they did it, but I wished it wasn't this way. The handles to pull your black tanks are really up in here, okay? There's 3 of them there. I know you can only probably see 2, but there they are, all right? So, yeah, 1, 2, 3. One's way up high, all right? So, and then there's your sewer outlet. It seems really low to the ground because it is. So with this, what you're going to do, you're going to take that cap off, you're going to hook your sewer hose up, put the other end into the ground where the sewer is, and then you're going to dump your black tank first, it's the black handle, and then you're going to rinse the sewer hose out with the gray. So the reason we're telling you to leave the black valve open if you're using that black tank rinse is because, number 1, we want you to get a clear connector to put there. Usually that's what they come with now, the sewer kits. So if you get a sewer hose and it's got a clear connector on it, perfect. Because you want to see when that water runs clear, then you know your tank is clean. However, if you were to leave that black valve shut while you're doing the black tank rinse, the pressure from it rinsing it out could very well shoot out the vent on your roof, or worse yet, it could overflow out of your toilet. That tank would fill up, and you don't know how full it's getting if you're out here. So it could very well fill up your black tank and then come out of your toilet all over the floor. I can't tell you how many calls, especially when these first came out. So many people called, and we had to do a complete repair on their flooring because it got soaking wet by the black tank coming out of the toilet. So please use it. I don't want to scare you out of using it, But just make sure when you rinse that black tank out that you're leaving that valve open. I know I've said that about 15 times now, so I'm going to stop talking about that. However, please remember, whenever you dump your black tank, you're also dumping toilet treatment. We always want you to put toilet treatment. You're going to drop it in the toilet with about a gallon of water. If you fill your bowl up on your toilet twice, that's about a gallon. It's going to break everything down for you to keep you from clogging up. And it's also going to help deodorize that black tank a little bit. But every time you dump your black tank, you're also dumping the treatment. So once you're done dumping the tank, you've rinsed it out, shut the valve, go back inside, drop another treatment down the toilet, and you're good to go until you dump again the next time. How often you have to dump is really up to how often you guys use it. You know, if you're not using a bathhouse and you're just using your camper, I would be checking it probably once a day. Hopefully you'll be getting spots that have sewer on site. That's so much better. The last thing I want to talk about is if you do get sewer on site. The biggest mistake that campers make, but even people that have been doing this for 20 years will do this. Do not hook your sewer hose up here and then put the other end to the ground and then open your valves and leave it, thinking now everything's just going to go straight into the sewer. I don't have to worry about dumping my tanks. There's a couple of problems with doing that. One problem is the sewer gases now have a way in because you've left the valves open. It's going to smell like a porta potty inside. The main issue that happens, though, is when you leave your sewer hose hooked up and the valves open, the only thing going through that sewer hose is liquid. Everything else is staying behind and drying to the bottom of your tank, making a nice little pyramid. Nobody wants that, right? And it's hard to clean. And you don't even see it because it's down in that black hole there. You don't see what's going on down there. Leave the valve. You can hook your sewer hose up if you want to. Just hook it up, but leave the valve shut until it's time to pull, until it's time to dump them. 2/3 seems to be a really good dumping point for any of the tanks because they're gravity fed. They need that push of gravity to empty itself. Okay, so please go ahead and hook your sewer hose up if you have sewer on site. Just leave the valve shut until they're about 2/3 full and then dump them and then shut it again. Okay, all right. That's really my only big soapbox item. All of your slide outs, except for one, have the slide toppers already on them. Something that people don't realize until it happens is the slide toppers, in my opinion, they're such a good idea. Everybody should get them, but you also have to know the risks of having a slide topper. The benefit is that it's going to keep debris off of your slide. If debris gets on the top of your slide and you pull your slide in, on the ground here, it's going to look like the slide rooms are nice and snug and closed up. But up there, if anything's up there, even a walnut or something like that, it's leaving a gap big enough to allow it to leak. Slide toppers eliminate that problem. Of course, there's always the off chance that something's going to get in there, but the slide topper is really going to be helpful. It's also going to help protect the rubber on the top of your slide out, the seal that's going around it. The sun beats the crap out of the seal on your slide out, so you always want to make sure that you're paying attention to those. I'm actually going to go over that here in just a minute, the maintenance of the slide outs. But anyway, the risks of having a slide topper, it's not really a risk, it's just something you need to be aware of. If it's windy out, really windy, the wind is going to grab a hold of those slide toppers just like it would an awning. Essentially, that's what it is. It's an awning over your slides. But it could really grab a hold of it and you will feel your camper move. It'll back and forth a little bit. It's not going to be terrible unless the wind is really, really bad. If the wind's going to be super, super bad, like really wind gusts are high, it's not a bad idea just to go ahead and pull these slides in. I know people don't want to hear that, but the slide toppers will rip right off the slides, and there's nothing that we can do about that. It won't be covered under warranty. At that point, it'll be out of pocket or an insurance claim because we can't do anything about the wind. All right? Just keep that in mind. Same rules going to apply for your actual awning. Back here, you have up there, that is, you are prepped for a ladder.